The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 The Talker. I am here with my co-host, fellow realtor husband, Pat Devaney.
Good morning, Jackie. How are you today?
How are you?
I'm doing well.
So am I. We are with Knights Well Drilling. We have Rob Fullwood, who is a service technician with Knights Well Drilling. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here with us.
Absolutely.
We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we talk real estate. We have an exceptional full-time real estate office with many relentless realtors who have been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com, or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, we have a live webcam looking at Dunmore Corners. So take a look at the webcam and see what's going on.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com, jruddy.com, where we also have all the popular podcast apps that we feature the radio show on. And check us out on social media. Okay, Rob Fullwood, service technician with Knights Well Drilling out of Goldsboro. Can you tell me a little bit about you and Knights Well Drilling, please?
All right. So Knights Well Drilling, we do residential and commercial well drilling. We do filtration. We do pump replacement, basically the whole gamut of water source from your outside to the inside.
You do maintenance, you do service upgrades, and you also provide people public water systems, softeners, filtration systems, if they so desire or need.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So you're based in Goldsboro. Mm-hmm. Knights has been around, Knights Well Drilling has been around for over 50 years.
60 years, actually.
60,
yeah,
wow.
It's actually, this year we did our 60 years.
It's a woman-owned company.
Woman-owned company, third generation.
And you're also known as, I love this, the water boss.
We are the water boss.
Of the Poconos.
Yes, ma'am.
And you service all of Northeast PA.
Yep, all Northeast PA, Pike County, Wayne County, Lackawanna County, all the way out to Monroe County, the Poconos.
Okay. How long have you been with Knights?
I've been here about 6 years now.
Okay.
Going on 6.
All right. So you're here on behalf of Knights Well Drilling. Jackie and Lauren?
Yes.
They're the owners.
Yes.
Hello to Jackie and Lauren. They're holding the shop down now.
They're holding the fort down.
Yeah, I know that you guys are really busy, and you've been around since, for 60 plus years, so you know what you're doing. What are the key factors to consider when someone is installing a well?
When installing a well.
Is it like real estate? Is it location?
It is location.
Location?
I always tell people we're very lucky in this area that we have water at some point. You hear horror stories about people getting dry wells and not having water. But we have water. It's just a matter of drilling deep enough to get to it. Sometimes it's 200 feet, 300 feet. Sometimes a little bit deeper up to, we go out as deep as 700 now. Not too much further after that. And then we have other ways of trying to get the water at that point.
What do you do?
So after 700 feet, we turn to a hydrofracker. As long as we have some water in the well, they're able to hydrofrack the well, produce a little bit more water for the customers.
So people here fracking are not going to start getting gas?
No gas.
No gas?
No.
I'm going to turn on turn on the spigot and it's going to shoot out flames?
No, not with the water well hydrofracking. All hydrofracking is putting the well under pressure. And what it does is it opens up the veins of water to allow more water to come into the well.
So how does it put it under pressure? Does it pump air or pump water in?
So they pump air and water into the well. They put what they call a packer in the well. It seals off the top of it. They put the water in and then add air to it, and it just slowly breaks the rock apart underground. So increasing the yield of the water.
Nice.
Okay, so there's some PAR, Pennsylvania Association of Realtors, came out with an article not too long ago, and it was really speaking to buyers and what they should consider. And over 1 million homes in Pennsylvania are not served by a community water, public water system. These properties typically receive their water from wells. Some maybe not as much, maybe from a source of a spring or a rainwater cistern, but most common are wells, right? Yes. Okay. Now, Pennsylvania is one of only 2 states with no construction regulations, and 45% of private water sources are never tested.
This is true. When you have a private well, it is your property, your responsibility. You have to test your water. You have to maintain your water. So it is up to the homeowner to ensure that their water is safe to drink, that their water is clean.
So,
what would be a telltale sign that I have a problem with my water? My friend has got a house up by Lake Wallenpaupack. The house is 200 and some odd years old. He's got a well where we can go over and pick up a board and look and see the water.
Yep, absolutely.
He's literally got a well like that.
Old hand-dug wells.
And then you walk over about 50 feet, and then there's a cesspool.
Yeah, we don't like doing that.
No, but so how do I tell if I have a problem with my water? Water.
Basically,
Water. How do I say water?
Well,
Okay,
see,
I'm sorry.
you emphasize the R. We do not.
Yeah,
water.
Okay. Water. I can't do it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Look at the water. Most issues are cosmetic. So you have dirty water, cloudy water. You do have smells. To some extent, if your water makes you sick, you have an upset stomach. So there can be bacteria in the water that can upset your stomach. So those are the things that you have to test for. Safety-wise, that's your potability of water. Is the water safe to drink? And you can contact us. You come out, take a sample. They take to a lab, analyze it, and see if the water is potable, drinkable.
So if I'm flushed the toilet and I look and the water is still dirty, that could be a problem when I'm taking a shower?
Yep. So yeah, most commonly around here we have iron, which turns your water red. A lot of people see that staining on the toilet bowl. They clean it like crazy week after week, and it continuously comes back. That's the iron in the water. It oxidizes, falls out, and stains the toilets, your grout, all those things.
Sulfur
Odor. Yes.
Sulfur
is like rotten egg.
Your rotten egg odor is
manganese.
Manganese, yep. That's usually a black substance. Forms a lot in the toilet bowls, in the back of the toilets. You see that if you lift that lid, you get that black sliminess in the back. That's your manganese. But again, all that can be filtered out. We can clean it up and make it nice and pretty. Turn some dirty water into nice, clean water for you.
So if the well water becomes contaminated naturally or from say a neighboring pet or whatever happens there's sometimes many pollutants in the water,
yes,
and there is no obvious symptoms. So I'm thinking a test on a regular basis. What would that regular basis be?
I believe DEP recommends that you test your water every 6 months, but it's completely up to you. I mean, if you're a public water supply, they have to test monthly. But for the typical homeowner, 6 months is kind of lets you know what's going on. It gives you different times of the year when you're testing the water, so you can see what's happening in the winter, maybe in the middle of summer if it's been extremely dry. And the water does fluctuate. The water tables fluctuate, which can change the quality of the water. You sometimes pulling from different veins, you have more minerals in those veins, and sometimes you're pulling from different areas nice and clear. So seasonal changes can affect your water and can affect the potability of the water too. So that 6 months is a good time range to test because it gives you those different times of the year.
Where do I bring it to test it?
Well, there are labs in the area that you can take your water to. A lot of times they have walk-in. You can call them up. They'll provide you with the bottles, sterile bottles, take the samples, drop them off. We provide that service. We can come out for a service call. We take the water, make sure it's a nice clean sample. We're not getting cross-contaminated with any chicken that you're cooking the night before. So anyway, those things are extremely important to get a clean sample and make sure that you're not getting a false positive because of that cross-contamination.
Is it expensive to get the water tested?
Water tests usually run $30 to $40 at the lab,
okay.
and then service fees on top of it, if we have to come out and then drive it down to the lab. But we provide that service in Gouldsboro. If you're in the area, we have the hardware store in town. You come in, we provide you a sample bottle, give you instructions, you fill the bottle, you can bring it into us. Once a week, we go down to the lab. So we only charge the lab fee. If you pick it up, take the sample and drop it back off with us.
Would you recommend somebody on a public water system have their water? We have never, ever had our water tested.
Well, Rob just said that they're required to do monthly tests.
They're required.
The PUCs are. Now, I don't work for one.
The Public Utility Commission.
Yep.
But I mean, we live.
But we don't know what the results are.
Yeah, but we live in Dunmore.
Right.
And we have old water mains that are at least 100 years old. And who knows what's in those pipes? I mean, you turn those pipes full blast, and I know that there's mud and junk in the bottom of the pipes that'll get kicked up. I know that for a fact.
And I believe all those test results should be available to homeowners. I believe if you contact your PUC and request, I believe that.
Yeah. How many people do you have to call?
Oh, really? Oh, you just call and they pick and they answer right off
and they send it right
bat.
to your email within milliseconds.
And they're so friendly.
I know that I am on a well and septic. I unfortunately don't have to. I pick up the phone and call nights if I have issues with my water.
You get real people?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
We do have a full-time staff. They do answer the phone, especially during the day. That's a lot of problems sometimes with the well drillers. They're out in the field, and not only well drillers. A lot of service industries, people, they work in the field. They don't have a full-time office staff. But at night well drilling, we do have a full-time staff that answers the phone. We're in the office 6 days a week. You don't get an answer in service. You'll get one of the girls, either Jackie or Lauren, will answer the phone. And they do a good job. They're very knowledgeable about what we do, water systems, from filtrations, even on the well drilling side. And they'll give you a knowledgeable answer for most questions that you have. They are more than happy to help walk you through problems over the phone. If it's something simple, save you a service call. We're busy like everyone else, so we just
try to help.
Make sure helping you guys.
They're nice in the office, though. You got two of them sitting there. One can ask the other a question. When they're working remote from their home, who do they ask?
There's no collaboration.
None. There's nobody to
Things
ask.
are falling through the cracks. You don't know how many times I have to call, email, beg, stand on my head, do a cartwheel to get an answer. So that is refreshing to hear. So I like to hear that stuff. With us today, Rob Fullwood, service technician, Knights Well Drilling out of Goldsboro, serving Northeast Pennsylvania, the water boss of the Poconos. How does someone get in touch with Knights Well Drilling, please?
So you can reach out to us on the internet. We have our website, through Facebook. You can message us. The girls respond pretty quickly on that. And you could also give us a call, 570-842-8142.
Thank you, Rob. Pat?
Yes, we have a beautiful 6-bedroom, 2-bath Victorian-style home at 518 Dudley Street in Dunmore for $269,000. This lovely home has loads of original woodwork and charm. When you come in, you're greeted with this beautiful grand staircase. It's got plenty of living space, hardwood floors, and French doors. The home has a fireplace, built-in bookcases, first-floor laundry, a large eat-in kitchen. All of this on a 50 by 175 lot. And when you're on the back deck, you have amazing views. That's a 6-bedroom, 2-bath Victorian-style home at 518 Dudley Street in Dunmore for $269,000, and that's listed by James Hazen of our office.
Thank you, Pat. We are thankful to our sponsor, Disaster Blaster. When disaster strikes, Northeastern Pennsylvania trusts Disaster Blaster to make things right. From water damage like broken pipes and roof leaks to mold problems, basement, waterproofing, radon mitigation, and more. Disaster Blaster offers the most services in the indoor environmental industry and is always there to help people. Serving the Northeast PA area, don't hesitate to call Disaster Blaster at 570-963-1123 or visit their website, www.disasterblaster.com. Okay.
What do you have?
More than 90% of recent home buyers report having regrets about their decisions.
Really?
I knew it was a high percentage, but I didn't think it was 90%. And this is according to Clever Real Estate. 93% of home buyers have regrets in 2023, and that's an increase of 5% since 2022. 58% of buyers said they think they overpaid for their home. Only 45% of recent buyers said they were able to afford a 20% down or higher down payment on their property. 38% reported paying more than the listing price for their home. Nearly half of recent buyers said buying a home in 2023 was more difficult than they anticipated. 59% said buying a home was a more stressful experience than they anticipated. 56% said they had felt overwhelmed financially since buying a home, and 62% reported they have struggled to pay their mortgage. Nearly 30% of respondents said their debt has gotten worse since buying a home. 27% said their overall financial health has deteriorated, and 20% have reported a decrease in happiness. 1/3 reported their home needs too much maintenance. 30% said they bought their property too quickly, and 28% said they spent too much or their interest rate is too high. The majority of buyers looked at homes for at least a month, 47% looking for 3 months, 95% of recent buyers made at least one offer before closing on their home, 62% made 5 or more offers, and 12% made 10 or more offers.
Sounds like you got some unhappy people in there.
Yes. Well, that is
Right.
throughout the country.
Okay.
It's not just
Right.
locally or in the state.
Right.
So, but those are high numbers, wouldn't
Yeah.
you say?
Well,
and I don't like to hear that people are unhappy because buying
Yeah,
a
but
home is part of the American dream.
I'm not happy if I have to put a $15,000 roof on my house either. I mean, it's part of home ownership.
Okay, but there was this mass rush to buy homes after, the pandemic hit, right?
Yep.
And a lot of people did overpay. We all know that, right? But there's inflation happening out there. So
right.
the cost of goods and everything else has...
Interest rates have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Because
so
all this crazy
there's
spending.
so many different there's other factors influencing this, right?
Yep.
So there's no answer.
But people are always going to be buying and selling homes.
Always. Okay. We're headed towards a break. Stay with the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back. When considering to sell or buy a home, why choose Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate? Let me tell you why. 70% of home buyers settle for the first agent they meet, and many regret it. 90% of home sellers hire an agent, but was it the right choice? Don't have agent remorse. I'm Jackie Ruddy, and I've been in and around the real estate business for most of my life. And at Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, we've been selling real estate for half a century. But we do not do it halfway. You deserve better than average. Average doesn't help you. We know it's all about you and what you need. Century 21 is the #1 in brand awareness, is the most recognized name in real estate, and is the most respected in the industry. In this market, if you dream big, you need to move fast. So it makes perfect sense to contact Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, 570-344-6724, and visit jready.com. That's JRUDDY.com. We're back with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
And we're back.
With Rob Fullwood, service technician with Knight's Well Drilling out of Goldsboro. Knight's Well Drilling is also known as the water boss of the Poconos, serving northeast Pennsylvania. So we were talking about testing water.
Yes.
Anybody can do this.
Yes.
You can come out and do it.
We can come out and do it for you. Yep.
Or there's a hardware store that you guys have.
Yes, we have a hardware store in Main Street in Gouldsboro where we do take the testing and send it to the lab for you.
Okay, so the homeowner could take their own sample with
Yes.
the test. Okay, so Pat had a question.
I go to some of these big box stores, and I swear that I saw a water sample test kit somewhere. Is my mind deceiving me?
No, actually, they do. They have these water test kits. You fill a bottle with water, send it in the mail. A couple days later, you get your results back. We have issues with these tests sometimes because with drinking water, you have hold times on. Some of the water has to be kept cold for some of the tests. And if the water sits too long, the samples can be skewed. pH in your water changes over time with temperature. So those tests are very good at giving you a general idea of your water, but the accuracy of them can be in question.
I can't see sending water through the mail. I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't sound right.
What are these test kits testing for? Because there's so many things that you could test water for: bacteria, copper, lead, nitrate, arsenic, manganese, hardness, iron, etc. You know, I mentioned a survey that was done in the first half of the show that Penn State did a survey. About 40% of water tested by Penn State found health-related issues, 66% found aesthetic issues, and a truly exhaustive water study would cost thousands of dollars.
One of the very common things we get, an initial call is, I want to get my water tested. And our first question is, what do you want to get it tested for? And the typical response is everything. And,
Right. Right.
The issue with that is we do these tests. We have to do very extensive tests for businesses when they open per DEP. And those tests alone can run into thousands of dollars. So when we tell a homeowner that we can do these tests for you, and it's going to be thousands of dollars, and that's the first thing they do. They go to these hardware stores and they get these little things and send them out in the mail. So we try to narrow it down what the concerns are. Do you have health concerns? Is your water dirty? Is there staining that you're concerned with? And that's where we start. We try to narrow it down for people what their actual concerns are. And then we take it from there. And we can lower that bill significantly to something that's a little more manageable.
So you're actually going to guide someone through what the tests they want? They're not going to guide me at the big box store when I go into the electrical aisle to get the water test kit?
Make sure your lights aren't leaking.
Make sure. But that's why we deal with local businesses, because you pick up the phone, you get the ladies, the water boss there.
Yes.
Bosses. And they'll guide you through, and they'll tell you what you need to get tested.
And
I have no idea what I need tested.
Third generation women-run business.
So they don't take any crap. Is that what you're telling me?
They don't. They like to educate.
Yeah, well, I bet you they do.
But yes, they do try to guide you to what you're actually looking for. Some people, they have an upset stomach, and the doctors say, have your water tested. So that gives us an idea which way we're going, try to whittle it down, and get them on the right track.
And then would you ask, how old is your home? How far away is your septic from your well? Would you ask these questions?
We usually get to those questions if we find an issue.
If you find an issue.
So we find,
okay.
So we take a bacteria sample and it comes back positive. The first question is, why is it positive? Is there a septic that's too close? Neighboring septic too close? Is it well constructed properly? Is your wellhead above ground? Years ago, the big thing, people didn't want to look at the steel pipe sticking out of their ground, so they'd chop it off, bury it, and that was it. Well, now when it rains, if it's not properly sealed, you can get water in there. The groundwater, runs through the leaves, anything that's on the ground, and then now gets into your water, and those causes those contaminants that can give you the upset stomach and all of those problems.
So the wellhead is the pipe that sticks out. You know what we see? People construct like little tiny buildings that look like little tiny wells or flower pots or something. I see people build stuff over them all the time that make it attractive. And Added bonus is you know the location of the well.
That's one thing. The downside to some of those, we want to make sure that there's proper flow around the well too, because a lot of people, they'll put them on or put these fake decorative rocks over top of them. Problem with that is you get critters that then like to go in there. And
critters.
If you don't have a properly sealed well, we've seen critters get into wells.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh.
It's always interesting when you get those calls. But
interesting is a nice word.
Interesting is a nice word. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so we want to make sure that your wellhead is exposed. We want to make sure that nothing obstructing it. People like to bury trees or plant trees right next to your well, which is all well and good. It cleans the area up. But when they go to have service 20 years down the road, that little tree that they planted or bush they planted now needs to get hacked down so that we can service the well properly. So again, those are all things that we look for when we do a site survey when there's a positive bacteria sample, and then we see if we can correct those issues. So if the well's below ground, we can extend it. We can put a proper seal on it, below ground, so that we're not going to have that groundwater infiltrating. Try to raise it up. Then we'll treat the well, chlorinate the well, resample a couple days later, and make sure that took care of the problem. And then we would suggest at that point resampling in a couple of months to make sure that was a cause of the contamination and that it's not something that's just naturally occurring, a natural contaminant in the ground.
Sometimes it doesn't happen a lot, infrequent, but it does happen where we are selling properties and the owners do not know the location of the well. Maybe it's an estate, children moved away, whatever the case might be. They don't know where the well is because they don't have that cute little
building on it.
Right. Okay. So what do you do?
We get the call quite a bit that the well pump quit or they don't have water for whatever reason, and they say, we don't know where the well is. And they look to us and they say, well, you're the professionals. You guys know where the wells are. And you unfortunately have to tell people that we don't have a record of every single well on the property, where it is, how far off the house is. But some things you can do, we can look at the general area of the equipment in the house, where the pipes are leaving the house. It kind of points us in the side of the house. Big thing, too, we look at the septic. If you have septic on site, typically you have to be 100 feet away from a septic. So they put the septic in the front yard, the well goes in the backyard, or vice versa. So we look at those things. We recommend best bet is probably to get a metal detector because in Pennsylvania we use typically steel casing. So we have a big steel pipe underground. A lot of times it's within a couple inches of the surface. Years ago, they did bury them 4 or 5 feet deep before they had some of the equipment that we have to keep things from freezing right now. But yeah, really to find it,
it can be tricky.
It can be tricky. You kind of got to look at the lay of the land and make an educated guess.
Have you never been able to find one?
Eventually, they do show up.
You do. They do show up. Okay.
We've come to people's houses where it looks like a minefield. There's holes all over the place, Doug.
But you do find it.
But we do typically find it eventually. After a couple days without water, people start looking pretty closely.
Start looking themselves.
Rob Fullwood, service technician, Knight's Well Drilling. How does someone get in touch with Knight's Well Drilling?
We do have a Facebook page that we respond to for service calls if anyone has issues. Our phone number is 570-842-8142. We're located in Gouldsboro, Pennsylvania. And our website as well, we have a link to send us an email requesting service as well.
Thank you. Would you come back next week?
Absolutely.
Pat?
Yes, we have a beautiful modern office building in the heart of Clark Summit at 411 Davis Street. It's directly behind everything on State Street for $299,000. This building was renovated from a residence in 2019, and it could be converted back by adding a kitchen. This building has 6 office spaces, a waiting area, 2 restrooms, a lower level, and an attic. The building has a large private garage. I like garages. So I like that. It's got a large private garage and plenty of off-street parking, and it's got a handicap ramp in the back of the building. And the best part, it's got low taxes of only $2,500 a year. That's a modern office building with 6 offices and parking at 411 Davis Street in Clark Summit for $299,000. And that's listed by Jessica Ruddy of our office.
Correction, it's behind everything natural.
Oh, and it's behind everything else, too.
Remember to join us next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate and 94.3 FM The Talker.